Dear friends, I hope you are all doing well. The situation in Palestine is growing with infections, and now we have about 108 infected people. There is one death, uh, and there is 18 who have recovered among them. We have 46 cases in Bethlehem. In Jerusalem, the eastern part of Jerusalem, we have 33. We have 11 in Ramallah, 9 in Gaza, 4 in Hebron, 2 in Tulkarem, 2 in Nablus, and 1 in Salfit. The more important thing is that since while there is a stopping of taking samples for testing because there is no test tubes to take samples, simply. And one of the major problems that has been going on since few days as well is the return of Palestinian workers who have been working on the Israeli side. And as the Israelis have closed the borders and as more infections are growing in Israeli side, much more than on the Palestinian side, so they are getting rid of all the Palestinian workers on that level and in big numbers, which put us in a very critical situation because the Palestinian Authority has no way to control all those workers who come on the Palestinian side after that. And so there is like writing a commitment to do home quarantine. Now, as most of you know, most of the Palestinian houses are small and crowded, and that it's almost impossible to make individual quarantine in the houses. So that's created a huge problem for those who seem to be healthy or those who are infected but not controlled and don't show the symptoms. So we are facing a very challenging situation, actually, with lack of resources, lack of tubes for testing, and just today, hopefully, there would be 10,000 test tubes arriving to Palestine, and I guess donated by China, which we thank hugely. And the problem is that all those who are infected, actually, if they will be in critical situation, then we have not enough ventilators. I mean, in Bethlehem Governorate, we have 2 or 4 maximum ventilators. So it would not be enough for whether it's coronavirus infected people or those who are sick and need to be put on respiratory devices. The other thing is that as new cases appear, then we have to restart the 14 days of quarantine for all the community in that area, which now makes us in Bethlehem area, for example, 25 days under quarantine. And now there would be another 14 days and so on. So it's growing on, which makes people, some people very nervous and a lot of stress and lack of resources, whether it's financial, whether it's food, whether it's disinfectants, whether it's even for the medical help for those chronic disease people. UNRWA is not doing enough. In Aida camp, the UNRWA director is very cooperative and he tried to do his best, but there is no provisions from UNRWA, United Nations Relief and Works Agency, which is responsible for refugee camps. There is lack of resources arriving to the city as well. So if you have 1,000 packages and you have more than 30,000 people living in Bethlehem city and more than 200,000 living in Bethlehem Governorate, there is about 6,000 people living in Aida refugee camp. There is about 18 or 20,000 living in the Haitian refugee camp, and then all the other places. Whatever help is coming, it's not enough for everybody. And here you cannot say that the rich will have and the will not have and the poor will have, because after 25 days of quarantine, and no banks are open for individuals and no resources are available for freedom of movement, then everybody would be in need somehow, and we have to provide for these people. In Aida camp, luckily, until today, we have no infection, uh, and we have 4 families who have been put under restricted quarantine because they have been in contact with some people, apparently, or suspected to be in contact with some people who were infected. And there is one new case from a worker who returned from the Israeli side, which is under home quarantine with all the families. So all the family is under full quarantine actually. And there are others who have returned today and yesterday. So we don't know how would be the situation, who is infected, who is not. No, nobody was tested until today among all these cases. So it's really a situation that is everybody is concerned with in the community. In Aida camp, we had previous incursions by the Israeli occupation army. We had the long siege during the 43 days of siege on Bethlehem Governorate. And we have been able to respond and create an emergency response group who have been working hard since the beginning of this pandemic. And since the beginning, we have put lists for those who are needy, those who have need medical care, chronically ill people, and trying to provide the medication. And we are thankful for all those who help support, whether financially or with the pharmaceutical aid, especially with Bijala Pharmaceutical Company recently, which have donated a good number of medicine that is needed for these chronically ill people, and others who have been contributing, some pharmacies who have been offering with hugely reduced prices the medical needs. The UNRWA provided some medicine for those who have been registered as chronically ill people in their records. Yet we face a huge problem with insulin for children and younger people because it's not provided and it's not the same. So we have to deal with that as well as other cases, disinfectants, food supplies, and so on. 25 days seems a long time, yet it seems also it's not enough because we have been resubjected for another 14 days now, and it will be continuing with the discovery of each new case that there would be another 14 days and so on. We hope that we will get over this and pass this challenge with the minimum of losses. And we pray that all the people all over the world will face this challenge as well. And this would give us a time to think what we can do better for the future, what our politicians would do better for the future. Instead of investing in all these weapons and destruction means and stereotyping people and segregating people and so on, investing in such challenge, which is providing health for everybody, and be ready to face such a small virus that have got to the biggest, richest countries in the world and left them incapable of dealing with it. I hope that everybody will be safe. I hope that everybody will be united. I hope that every isolated person will meet his beloved ones. And we pray that all of you will be safe. To our friends in all these countries which are facing these challenges, to our people in Palestine and all over the world, to our Chinese or Iranian or Spanish or French or Italian or American or British or any country in the world, all these Arab countries or Western countries or whatever. Hopefully, you will open your eyes and hearts and see that how incapable we are faced to the smallest challenge that we can face, and that we invest a lot on what brings us together rather than what separates us, and that we provide for our people dignity and provide them with all the means to stay as beautiful as human beings and live a decent life and provide a heritage that we can be proud of for the generations to come. Be well, stay home, stay safe, and looking forward to see you one of these days in a better world, better life, and better health. Thank you.